welcome to the, I guess we're calling it the Niagara Investment Tour. This is Dave. Dave is our client who is graciously allowing us to see his project. So this is a Triplex conversion that you closed around the summer of last year, right? This is not your first project, right? You've done duplex conversions in the past.
I have.
What prompted you to take on a larger project like this, I guess?
Partly curiosity and partly, as I continue to invest in real estate, just the next project, the next bigger, better, and the challenge, but also seeing where the values were when you started to invest in properties.
And this property was very unique because, as you'll see inside, the garage is pretty much like a 5-car garage, is what we estimate it to be. It's 900 square feet. So it's 2 cars wide, probably 2.5 cars deep. And you guys are gonna get a treat because it's almost done inside, so you'll actually see the finished version of this. At this point, we sell very few single-family homes. What didn't work according to plan? What are some of the problems you face?
Time for sure. Like I was a little aggressive on my projections of when I thought the project would be done. So we originally were aiming for, mid-December, kind of December-ish, but we've had delays from supply chain issues, not serious, but we've had some delays, supply chain. On the flip side, I didn't get too beat up over it because part of it is, it's not always the best time to try to find rental in January anyway. So we were really looking to try to fill the units for more of the spring market. So we had that bit of time. And plus, we're seeing the market increase month over month. So it's not like, yeah, yes. So it's not like, and same with, rental incomes have changed since we've done our original projections. So it's not like we're being penalized too much for being, over time on the project.
Come on in, guys. And feel free to make the red carpet dirty. So this is going to be a very cool unit once it's done because this actually has 2 washrooms. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-washroom apartment. I guess in here, we're still waiting on the cabinets. What was the final kitchen design?
It'll be the sink and the dishwasher will be along here, and it'll actually have a quartz countertop that'll extend over to here, and then there'll be a pantry here, so it'll kind of extend into this room as well.
The kitchen, we had a smaller layout initially, but then kind of after the fact, decided to make it larger just to use the space better, right?
Yeah, we tried to open it up a little bit. So we took out one of the walls that was kind of separating here.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, there was there was a partition wall right here.
And we looked at taking out other walls, but we decided not to. But yeah, we tried to open it up as much as we could.
Yeah.
The design kind of changed a couple of times as we started the project. The option, obviously, we made the decision to put in a sliding door at the back. It was originally just going to be a window, but we decided to put the direct access to the backyard so that all 3 units have direct access to the backyard. We had to raise the floor, which was kind of something we learned partway through the project just because of, you didn't want the floor to be cold. It was always designed to be a 2-bedroom, which it is. We actually did put its own furnace and AC unit as opposed to doing like ductless. So we've kind of built it to have its own, those utilities as well.
Yeah, like this is a very unique garage suite. I don't know if we're going to be able to get many more of these. There's pros and cons with having a larger suite. Obviously, the rent you can get is much higher if it's a full 2-bedroom, but the construction cost of something like this is definitely really up there.
I think even originally, I don't even know that I thought of doing the garage at the beginning.
That's right.
We were just like, this is an option of something we can do in the future. But then we started running the numbers and things like that. We thought it would just be best to kind of
just go for it.
Convert it now, and who knows where things are going to be in the future. So
yeah.
The cost to do the garage, $112, $115, in and around there.
Like soundproofing?
Yeah, there's resilient channels, what they use on the walls, and also in the ceiling in the basement, which is usually what we put in to help with sound dampening, along with insulation. We didn't go through the full soundproofing because that's really expensive.
Yeah, and also there's like you have to imagine how much contact is there. So between the upper and the lower unit, there's a lot more sound transfer. Through a wall, I'm sure there's some sound transfer, but it is fairly limited how much this house, like the garage, touches the main house, right? There's always going to be some sound transfer in a duplex or a triplex. There's no way of getting around it, and it is good to even tell our tenants to sort of set the expectation, hey, it's a shared house. It's not a single family home. It's not a condo building with concrete floors and walls, right? This is a single structure, and there is going to be some sound, but we do as much as possible to, make it comfortable so that they stay a little bit longer, right? Yeah, I mean, if you can separate hydro and gas, those are two big expenses that if the tenants can cover for you, it goes a long way, right? So yeah, the fact the structure was already there goes a long way. Like I spoke to this same contractor and I asked him, if this structure wasn't there, how much would it cost to build?
Yeah, to dig the whole thing. But you cannot.
Well, you could build on grade. You could build on grade, do a slab, and then just build without doing a basement. But he said that cost would still be in the 300,000 range. So now you imagine if you can get up to like 500,000, you could build a house from scratch, right? So you're getting close to that kind of cost, and to me, it is not justified yet, because the next stage with these kind of renovations, as we get bigger and bigger, would be do a second story addition, do an addition off the back of the property, off the side, like literally building this from scratch. The cost benefit, I don't know if it's quite there yet with today's rents. If rents are 50% higher, maybe you buy a cheap small home on a big lot, you build an addition for the second unit. Maybe that's an idea. But right now, we're still trying to stay within the confines of the existing structure. So even 3 units, if the structure exists and we're finishing the inside, it keeps the cost from going just too much. Two-bedroom apartment, we're going to get 1,800. 3-bedroom apartment, we're going to get 2,200. 2-bedroom basement, we're going to try to get maybe 1,700. You could get a bit more, right? Because it's an apartment, but we get a much higher quality of tenant. And also we don't have to worry about the school cycle, right? With regular tenants. With the student rentals, I have some student rentals, but my student rentals have 5 or 6 bedrooms with 1 kitchen, 2 bathrooms, 1 living space, right? So not a whole bunch of square footage that's used for different living rooms, different kitchens. If he wanted to, he could have made it into like a 10-bedroom student rental, but it's a different type of property, and the financing for student rentals is just a pain. But in general, if you want to buy more than a few properties, you want to do it this way, the legal conversion, have 2 units, 3 units, have families, then you can use the lease amounts, and it's a lot smoother usually. Yeah, so on my most recent purchase, I had to go to B2B. It's one of those monoline lenders. This is just me personally, right? Like if you have an easier mortgage file, Scotia is our number one, especially for these type of projects. They're very easy to work with. Actually, BMO recently joined the mortgage brokerage channel. So even our mortgage brokers can start to work with them in the next couple of months. So they have some interesting options, especially if you have a company. They can actually give you a mortgage through a company. So it opens up a bit of the options. So there's a crazy demand for student rentals in general. Like even in Welland, some of the homes in this area, they sell at prices that seem crazy to us, because that same home in a almost better neighborhood, that's a family neighborhood, sells for cheaper. So there's a lot of people that think student rentals equals money. So they'll buy it at higher and higher prices in this neighborhood, versus if there's a better home in a better family neighborhood, it will sell for cheaper. So I don't know. I think the more experienced you become as an investor, you will start moving away from student rentals. But I think there'll be enough newer investors who think that that's a good first investment. So. This is very unique though. Like having 2 washrooms, like this is, yeah. This is the first property that we have 2 units with 2 washrooms each, and still lots of space. Yeah, It's a huge property, right? Like probably 4,000 square feet almost, right?
Yeah, I
All
guess
the
maybe,
usable
all the-
space.
Yeah, maybe.
At that time, we paid a price that we really had to.
We-
Like, there weren't any comparables. We had to look at, okay, how much cash flow can it make? Are we willing to pay this price? Okay, let's pay this price. Within a week, inferior properties were selling for more. Like, the market was moving just so
And that's
fast.
what kind of, like, when we put in the price, it was based on us accessing the third unit.
Yeah,
So that's why we went to the price level that we did, because we already foresaw the potential rental income of the third unit, which would make the project make sense. It
Yeah.
would have been a tough project. It would have been a tough bid or tough price if it was just a duplex at
just
that
for
time.
2 units. Yeah, we recently, one of our other team members, Hanish, got a triplex conversion for $850 for one of his clients. That one was a side split, where the basement was going to be 2 units, so a little bit smaller units than this building. So 1-bedroom suites each, and then upstairs is a nice 3-bedroom.
You know, I will share with the group, one of the other projects that I've done, which aren't this big, it made it a little easier to find comparables. So I had a better idea of, you know, what my costs were going in and what the expectation of the end result in terms of refinancing, rent, and those kinds of things. This project, being as big as it is, and with the 900 square foot garage and 2 units with 2 bathrooms, there's not a lot. There wasn't a comparables on the market. So a lot of the numbers that I was going off of back in, I guess, July,
Yeah.
at the time before we had actually started the project, it's all, I don't want to say guesswork, but it was kind of like our best guess estimate at that time.
Yeah. For a long time now, we've kind of gone through just the cost approach. Like, what is our purchase price? What is our renovation budget? That is what we estimate it to be worth once it's done. Hopefully more, but if it's worth at least that, you should be able to pull your reno money out when you refinance the property. Most of it, at least.
Yeah, and that's
Right.
the goal. The goal will be to, at the very least, get the rental budget out. And then if we can get some of our investment out as well, that'd be great. But for now, we'll just look to get the rental budget out and off we go. When we're getting our permit, we actually have to do the permit for the house first. It has to be completed, and then you're applying for the permit for the garage or the third unit separately.
The primary reason for that is to avoid paying development charges on the third unit. Like, if you construct a 3-unit or 4-unit, well, if you construct any property from scratch, you typically pay development charges. By doing it this way, technically the house is a legal duplex. The garage is an accessory suite. So those are different definitions as per the city, but you can combine them in Welland on the same property as long as everything is attached. Doing it that way, one and then the other, saves you, like, I think 23,000 or 25,000 in development charges. Because you can imagine paying 23 grand on top of the already pretty large renovation budget it takes to make a third unit, right? At least in this case. So